Having an NBA MVP from Greece sounds far-fetched and improbable if you think about it. And that's essentially what Giannis Antetokounmpo has been doing all his life, defying the odds. From living in poverty and being immigrants, to being the reigning most valuable player in the NBA that put Greece and Milwaukee back on the map. Let's dive into the lifestyle of the Greek freak. Childhood. The earliest signs of Giannis and basketball coming together came at an early age, as there was a basketball court near their home in Greece. When his parents came home from work and when they had free time, that's where the kids would be. First being discovered by Georgios Panou, a basketball personality in Greece, he was the first person to tell Giannis what he could possibly be, and also what he needed to change to also provide a better future for himself and his family. One of the hardest parts during this stage was telling his parents that Giannis would need to eat differently from them, as the family was raised to eat together and share what food's available to them. Because of the morals instilled in the family, the decision was then made to have the whole family have different eating habits. Giannis even mentioned that sometimes he didn't have lunch at school, then arrived at practice that ended around 11 p.m., and when he got home, that would be the first meal of the day he would have. It was that kind of living for the family, but regardless, they all had high spirits and still had these beautiful smiles on their faces. They weren't rich, but they were wealthy, as some may say. When scouts first saw a glimpse of the prospect, the consensus was that he was not NBA ready. However, they saw potential. Giannis was also not given the typical way of being noticed by NBA scouts, as he was more than 9,000 kilometers away, and his body had not fully developed yet, partly due to lack of nutrition. It was only when an email sent to Jonathan Givony, an NBA draft expert, that the world found out who Giannis was. And this was what led to this infamous clip of Giannis being interviewed in Greece. Lifestyle. It's no secret that family is the top priority for Giannis, as almost every interview we've seen or heard from him, he mentions his family and how important they are to him and how they made him the player and person he is today. He's Greek, born to Nigerian parents, and has 4 brothers: Francis, Thanasis, Kostas, and Alex. At first, Giannis wanted to follow his father's footsteps and play football, but it was Thanasis who insisted and encouraged them into basketball. Giannis, who adored his older brother and wanted to spend more time with him, agreed. The family was challenged financially, so Giannis and Thanasis used to share the same pair of sneakers during their games. The routine would go, one brother would wear the shoes whenever he's on the court, then switch shoes whenever the other brother would be subbed in. Nonetheless, they managed to still beat teams despite having one player without shoes. Prior to being drafted, Giannis said he only owned 10 to 12 pairs of sneakers. And now, even after having tons of pairs stored, he admits he only wears 10 to 15 of them. The brothers at times would join their mother and help her sell goods like watches, DVDs, and bags in the streets of Greece. This is where they learned the value and importance of hard work and hustle. Understandably, Giannis never left the country before the draft day, nor was he ever given an opportunity to. And since this was the case, it's also acceptable that he did not know anything about Milwaukee when they drafted him. He didn't even know who was on the team. That's to give you a clearer idea of how clueless Giannis was when he first arrived. In fact, Giannis learned how to drive, open a bank account, find and rent an apartment when he arrived in Milwaukee with the assistance of some Bucks staff. At the tender age of 18, he was put into a position where he would need to make adult decisions, which his general manager John Horst said that Giannis handled very well. Currently, he's in a relationship with Mariah Riddlespringer, who's an American volleyball player. They met when Mariah interned with the NBA, and their love became much stronger last year when Mariah gave birth to their son Liam. In his sophomore year, Giannis got a new hobby, writing music. It started as a challenge from his brother. He took on the challenge and even planned to build a studio in his home to finish his writing. The genre would be in the hip-hop and R&B realm, and promised to keep it clean. Inspiration for his songs would come from J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Big Sean, and Drake, as those are the artists he listens to. When not playing games, Giannis stays in his humble mansion that includes a pool, home theater, game room, gym, office, and wine cellar. He also admits he's a low-key person and is not big on fashion. He doesn't care about spending extra energy to look good for 5 seconds. He just wants to look good on the court, get the W, go back home, lay on the couch, and watch game film. Thankfully for Bucks fans, he doesn't like being Hollywood, and doesn't like all the extra drama. Net worth. The back-to-back MVP has a net worth of $70 million. His current portfolio includes the Antetokounmpo Academy, which he and his brother started along with his own YouTube channel and another channel that's for the brothers. Nike was the only brand interested in signing him early in his career. Li Ning and Adidas only came along when Giannis was already established. At first, Giannis declined the initial Nike deal, as he bet on himself, and eventually, he received more, which resulted in the largest initial signature shoe launch ever for Nike basketball. He earns at least $10 million per year from endorsement deals alone, and earns around $28 million total, which includes deals with brands like BMO Harris, Tissot, Kronos Foods, Nike, Hulu, and 2K Sports. His other sponsors are JBL and TCL, and he's also appeared in commercials for Aegean Airlines and Milko. In 2016, he signed his first major contract for a 4-year deal with the Bucks worth $100 million. And in 2020, Giannis signed a 5-year extension worth $228 million, which is the largest contract in NBA history in terms of dollars per season. That's more than $45.5 million per year, approximately $556,000 per game, or almost $125,000 per day. Spendings. One of the first purchases Giannis made was a PS4. As shared by the 5-time All-Star, the most extravagant spendings he noticed was when he was a rookie. All his teammates would buy a PS4 wherever they landed, then leave the console at the hotel. What shock must the staff felt when they saw the PS4s there? Giannis and his family also love to travel. As recent photos show, they were just in Rome using Giannis's private jet. His most expensive purchase to date is the $1.8 million mansion he purchased from his former teammate, Mirza Teletovic. From having 1 to 2 storage units at home, quickly turned into 6 to 7, stacking boxes filled with sneakers, stating he owns 3,000 to 4,000 pairs. He also prefers BMW more than other brands, and owns an i8 which is reportedly worth $150,000, and also got one for his brother. He's also been seen with a Range Rover and the good old GMC Yukon worth $50,000. He also owns property in Greece, however, no details are known. This is also not official, but since having a newborn at home, surely most of his spendings are for his baby's needs. Workout life. What's tantalizing about Giannis is no one can teach height, and he has that crossed off the checklist. What's left is his size, strength, and overall skills. When playing for Farfetched when he was 16, he did weights before and after the game and watched film. During this time, he met Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was a cafe owner who let the brothers eat at his cafe and encouraged them to follow their dreams. Giannis even offered to work for him, but Mr. Antetokounmpo declined and insisted on Giannis and the boys chasing their dreams even more. This gesture and push helped tremendously in their development and provided support whenever they needed it. At 17, Giannis began being noticed by European and NBA teams. Once the Milwaukee Bucks drafted Giannis, the initial workouts or goals were to build his size without losing speed or mobility as he was too skinny. On game days, he heads to the facility and starts with stretches, agility, and foot speed workouts. Then move on to awareness and cardio, followed by weights and on-court offensive and defensive drills. Once done, he has his 2-hour and 45-minute nap, precisely as taught by his father at an early age. It's so vital to Giannis that if he doesn't get his nap, he doesn't play. Well, not really, but you get the point. 2 hours before tip-off, he heads to the court to put up extra shots, then 15 minutes of ice bath and recovery. 22 minutes before tip, he gets his hot sauce to relax his limbs. Don't worry, it's only icy hot. During the offseason, he still keeps himself busy by having a workout routine consisting of upper body for days 1 and 3, lower body for days 2 and 4, cardio, agility, and explosiveness in day 6, and recovery for day 7. He even declined an invitation to star in Space Jam 2, because it would mean he'd miss out on 2 weeks' worth of private workouts. His diet consists of some oatmeal, bacon, eggs, and fruits, which is a complete meal including protein, carbs, and fiber as his first meal. Making sure to eat after several intervals, including at least 6 meals a day, he mainly eats a heavy diet comprising of protein such as chicken and steak. He doesn't completely cut out carbs, but he does limit his intake. Some may say that Giannis only began to focus on his full potential when his family finally joined him in the United States. He became more happier, more comfortable, and less worried, unlike in the beginning where he was practically alone. Thanks to this, Giannis kept a clear mind and eyes on the prize, having provided protection and safety to his loved ones. Thanks to all these factors, Giannis was a beast, or buck unleashed. When he was younger, he played as a guard, so normally he would avoid contact, but as he grew, he soon realized that he could power through contact instead. It was his 3rd year when he realized he could be the best in the league. In year 4, during the offseason, he was even given the challenge of winning the Most Valuable Player award by none other than Kobe himself. As a response, he became the only player to win both the Most Improved Player and Most Valuable Player awards. After falling short in the playoffs in previous years, the Bucks finally broke out when they made Mike Budenholzer the coach, becoming the #1 seed. In just 5 years in the league, the Greek Freak is the third youngest to win MVP behind LeBron and Derrick Rose, as well as winning the award back-to-back times, averaging nearly 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 dimes per game. He's also the third player to win both the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP in the same season, behind only MJ and Hakeem, as well as the Most Valuable Player in this past All-Star game. He's also considered one of the best 15th picks in NBA history, along with Steve Nash and Kawhi Leonard, throwing away old scouting reports during his draft that it would take Giannis 5 years just to become a solid role player. Interesting facts. Genes are certainly gifts passed on to us by our parents, and clearly Giannis was the beneficiary of such gifts from both his parents, as his father, Charles, was a former football player, and his mother, Veronica, was a former high jumper. Not all of them are in the sports industry, though, as older brother Francis is in the music industry back home and has had albums released. Being a Nigerian born in Greece, their family name can be pronounced one of two ways. Antetokounmpo is the Nigerian way, and Antetokounmpo is the Greek way. The Antetokounmpo family, along with the Olajuwons, are from the Yoruba tribe, and Antetokounmpo translates to, "the crown has returned from overseas." During his younger years, him and his brothers used to sleep in the gym, which had a great impact on the chemistry between them. Having already released his own shoe line, Giannis prides himself on the fact that to this day, he's never bought a pair of basketball sneakers. When he was young, he would either muster up the courage to ask teammates for their old pairs, or Thanasis would be given a pair from the team and they would share it. Both Giannis and Thanasis have served in the Greek military as part of their compulsory military service. The two-time MVP used to watch clips and highlights of another MVP in Allen Iverson back home in internet cafes, emulating his moves as well as copying AI's famous cornrows. And lastly, which is by far our favorite, Giannis had to run to the arena on game day because he had just transferred all the money he had back home. He only had his card with him and Cavs didn't take credit. So with no other options left, he started to run towards the arena to try and avoid being late. Luckily, a couple of fans heading to the arena themselves noticed this giant of a man running along the streets and asked him if he was the Bucks rookie. He confirmed that he was, and they gave him a ride to the arena. This alone shows that Giannis will do anything and everything to get the job done, after taking care of his family, of course. The Greek Freak is truly an inspiration, not only to his countrymen, but to people who are struggling in general. What's your favorite Giannis moment so far? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more NBA-related content. See you next time.